That's it, on est live. On est live.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Salut, mon Jordan.
Comment est-ce qu'il va, mon Félix?
Ça va super, puis toi?
Toujours, mon ami, toujours.
Yes.
Always good.
Fait qu'on start ça ici sur Instagram. Let's go. On est live. Puis Winners Wednesday, comme tous les mercredis. On a un petit programme pour les gagnants seulement ici.
Ouais, les losers.
Désolé. Ça va être plate. Ils vont nous trouver plate, man. Je suis désolé. Ou peut-être qu'il y en a qui cherchent un insight, un petit truc pour se
primer.
Pour continuer la semaine. Puis si tu travailles dans un bureau puis que tu fais des ventes, je suis déjà passé par là. Le mercredi, des fois, c'est pas facile. Le mercredi, c'est tough. On se trouve des excuses ou on se trouve des raisons de ne pas vendre. Aujourd'hui, on va se trouver des raisons de gagner, d'améliorer nos objectifs puis de rendre ça concret. Puis c'est ça, je voulais starter ça en posant la question, justement, par rapport à ça, par rapport au but qu'on se place. Je trouve qu'il y a beaucoup de gens qui ont des buts, mais qui n'ont pas ce qu'ils veulent. Je veux dire, moi, je pourrais te dire, George, qu'avec les buts que je me suis établi, la façon que je me sentais versus comment je me sens maintenant par rapport à mes buts, puis où est-ce que je me situe, je me sens bien dans le sens où, comparativement à avant, on dirait que j'étais toujours insatisfait. Il y avait toujours une place dans ma vie que j'aurais pu améliorer. Ça vendait pas, soit que ça vendait pas assez, OK, dans les ventes, dans la job, il n'y avait pas assez de ventes, il n'y avait pas assez de... Puis j'avais pas trop le contrôle sur comment j'allais pouvoir améliorer ça. Mais c'est comme si j'avais pas de système pour établir des buts aussi qui étaient intéressants puis qui allaient me permettre de... Tu sais, avant de vraiment me mettre à être conséquent dans ma recherche de... Like, I was looking for success, but I was not looking for success like in a professional, systematic... I had no approach about success. I was just like, I want success. And I feel like for most people, it's like that. And I was having discussion with people, like for some people, success is just like some attainable, like at some point, I'll get
but let's
there.
be honest though, Phil. Back then, when you and I were working in the sales office together, what were we doing? We would go to work 9 o'clock. We would leave at 5, and we would go...
Bring your mic closer.
Sorry. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
I'm using the phone mic.
Okay.
But what do you expect? You know, we were a kid. Well, I guess you could say we were kids, right? Early 20s, like right before, 19, 20, we worked together in the offices. How did you expect to get success by the way we were operating? We would show up for work at 9 o'clock. We would stay there till 5, and then we would leave and we would go smoke and do, you know what I mean? And waste our life, so to speak, you know? We were wasting time. And we would just go and show up for the job and then go home. Mm-hmm. And obviously, like, how are you?
We had the time. We had the time.
Man, that's one thing I regret. You know, you're not supposed to regret much. Like, that's one thing I regret. It's like now I'm always scrounging for time to work on projects, to work on side projects. And before, it's like, man, we had all the time in the world and we didn't use it. But it's okay, man. No regrets, man. We live, we learn. Right?
It's true.
Now we focus on the future. But no wonder, like we all wanted success. We all want a yacht. We all want all these things. But we were going to work, leaving, and then going straight home, watching Netflix.
But why though? Why though? Like, we want the yacht. We see the yacht. Like, people are that might be listening to you. On a tous déjà
été
we're
young.
Au Vieux-Port. On a tous déjà vu les
friends. We see our friends hanging out. We see our friends like having a good time, and we're like, oh, we should be having a good time too. Oh, it's okay. They're having fun. They're about my age. I don't know if you psychologically this happened to you, but it's like, oh, they're about my age and they're also hanging out. So I could be hanging out. I'm the same age. I don't have
so
to
it's
be
herd
hustling.
mentality then.
Yes. Yes. That was
herd
the herd
mentality.
Yes. I'm glad you said that. That when we could accept that's how we were back then. We had that mentality.
So how do you get out of the herd mentality is why we're here today. How do you get out of the herd mentality?
To you. So I'll just share with you my experience of how I got out of that mentality. I moved out of my parents' house. Plain and simple. That's for me. I was living with my parents. We're Italian. We stay with our parents till, until we get married or get a house, whatever. But I started to realize that staying at your parents' house is actually detrimental. You have the good life. Everything's taken care of. Your food, your rent. You don't have to pay rent, the electricity. All the bills are paid for. So you don't have a hunger mentality. And it was only till I moved out where I'm like, shit, man, I gotta fuck this. This is on me, man. This is on me. It's up to me to take care of shit now, so to speak. So that's my personal experience. I'm sure everybody else has a different one, but for me, it was moving out of my parents' house. But I'm sure maybe you have a different. What was it for you?
Well,
That changed the mindset for you.
I moved from my parents at a very I was very young. I left my parents at 16, and I went to my grandmother for to start CJEP, and then I went on to live in my own apartment 2 years, a year and a half, 2 years later. As soon as I was 18, I was in my own apartment in Blainville.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember. You brought
Yes, of
a
course.
bottle of homemade champagne from your dad that knocked me out
Yes.
completely the first day.
Hey, she's probably listening to this.
Oh my god, I remember that. Anyways, but
But see, so being in your own place, but 18-year-old, I guess you still want to girls, this, that, drinking.
it was just I was working at Evo at the time. So I remember I was working at Evo. I was taking the train, and there was no it was survival, right? It was literally survival. So I had no time for goals. I
Okay.
literally had no time for goals. My only goal was to be independent, and my goal was to make. At the time, the goal was to survive better than my dad was doing. That was the goal. So the
Like at
cap,
that point in
the
time, you mean?
ceiling, yeah, that at that point in time,
So
like
you
at
okay? So
18 years old,
you compared yourself versus your dad
to
at
my
18 years
dad.
old, and you're like, okay, that's the benchmark. So if I'm where he is or more, then I'm good. If I'm less, then I gotta focus the
I
boy.
was trying to. I was a little I was a little bit not in a. I wouldn't say in a fight, but stuff was happening at home, and I wanted to show him at some point. At some point in time. Now we have a very good relationship. Me and my dad. It's very, very, very simple, not complicated at all. But at the time, he was separating from my mom, and it was a bit complicated. So I was trying to show him. He used to tell me starting a business at that age, no, 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 it's impossible, it's impossible. I knew I had some stuff going on in my life that I could tap tap upon and use opportunities to do stuff. And he was not believing it was possible at 18 years old. So I was trying to prove him. And that was the cap for me. At that time, I remember I was trying to the ceiling was like my dad's salary per year. He was like at 160 or some stuff like that. My dad is a lawyer. It was not even realistic working in a call center, doing as well as my dad. How
No.
crazy is that? How crazy is that? But that was the goal. And what I did to attain these goals is it is not we can't talk about this right now. All the stuff
We did what
I
we had
did.
to do, right? We do what we have to
We
do,
do what
right?
we
So,
have to do. So afterwards, I went on the in the 20s, comme j'étais en train d'apprendre puis de faire des expériences, faire des erreurs. Tu fais des erreurs.
100%.
Puis quand on est tombé sur 10X, quand je suis tombé sur 10X, c'est durant la pandémie, OK? Comme je suis tombé sur le 10X seminars and all that stuff. Je t'en ai parlé, on en a parlé beaucoup. C'est comme si ça l'a amené une genre de... OK, you can actually put a structure to this. And what the 10X brought is that it brought me a system to set targets. Really, the whole thing about 10X is setting targets at 10 times what you think you want, and then do 10 times what you think it would take to get there. 10 times the amount of actions, 10 times everything. Massive thoughts that leads to massive actions. So that's the 10X thinking. So we did that. I did that, and we used that approach a lot during the pandemic because everything was dead. So I had to restart everything from scratch, and I had the time. So you were talking about us when we were 18 years old, uh, having the time, chilling around, but we had no clue though. But once you have a clue and you have the time, and during the
That's
pandemic,
a
that was
recipe
my
for
case.
like going to the moon. Ça, c'est un recette pour aller à la lune.
Ben, bro. So I
Comme-
10x the actions during the time of the pandemic. I just had the time.
So for you, it was the pandemic that time. Okay, so it's everybody's different, right? Everybody has a different, for me, that's what it was. But for you, I feel like you moved out at 18. You're still young. Like, even though you're on your own, you're still young. You're 18. You're still a kid.
Very.
You got to figure it out. You have to pay, like, man, that's tough. That's really hard. For me, it was a bit different. I was a bit mature. I was more mature when I moved out. So maybe the combination of me being older, like mid 20s, almost late 20s when I moved out. So I already had a more mature mindset than an 18-year-old. So it's different scenario. Maybe if I moved out at 18, I would have been different. I would have wanted to just party all the time. Yeah, have all friends over. No. But maybe that would have also been a good thing. Maybe I would have got all that out of my system early on. Who knows? So I can just share my for me, it was that. It was like moving out of my parents. Like, okay, man, this life is serious. It's like no more like sleeping past. Now it's like we gotta wake up early. We gotta get shit done, and you feel good. It feels amazing. Live it like coming to think about it, living and having your parents do everything for you. It feels like shit. Feels like, man, I should be. I'm wasting my wasting my 20s, my youth, when I can be out there being productive. I have energy now. Let's go. And then after, when we're gonna get older, we're not gonna have the energy that we have now, right?
The thing is, I think people have, like we were talking about survival, right? Like you left your parents' house, and then all of a sudden, because I was just thinking, the 20 to 30 is such like a big learning lesson for everyone, and like it's different for everyone. And I just feel like, if you want to go across these years and be like conscious about it, like more like conscious about the time you're spending and where you're spending your time. If I could go back, I would set myself at least better goals for survival, just for survival. So what is your goal for survival? People have weird goals for survival, man. Like I've heard people, I have enough. What's enough? Because once you have enough, how is it going to be good enough for how long? Like, okay, I'm going to make that and that much is enough until it's not enough anymore, because you get there and things happen, people get sick, people get flooded, their whole basement costs $100,000. You have that extra money aside, now it's gone.
But when you say enough, like, what do you mean? Enough to just stop working and just chill until I croak? Or enough for me to stop working the day job and do like other projects?
So what's the definition of enough? I feel like,
man, it's subjective. It's different for everybody.
It's subjective. But when you talk about people when you talk to people about goals, Jordan, I always feel like, not that it's shut down, but it's a sensitive subject.
Vague. It's like vague. It's like they don't put a lot of thought in it. Most people don't put a lot of thought in it.
No, but it's more about like, what's a lot of money?
Yeah.
What's a lot of money? Like,
it's a good question.
Like people like and society have these like parameters already set of like what's a lot of money. Because if you go to Dubai, or if you go like to India, or I was reading this morning of the president of a big company in India, the biggest company in India. It's I think it's Reliance Industries, something like that. The guy spent $600 million for his wedding. $600 million for his wedding.
Yeah, that's another level. That's like
they had rupees, the baseball the size of baseball, of a
Yeah.
baseball, des rubis, puis des crazy stuff. $600 million.
Yeah, that's
Lately,
just
I
for
was
wedding.
reading that in The Economist
Wow.
this morning. So
Okay.
what's a lot of money? Like, what is a lot of money for people? Because for
It's
a lot of people,
subjective. It's
$100,000 is a lot of money.
it's
$300.
man, it's completely subjective to everybody. Some with a couple million, I'm pretty sure they'll be able to, run it until they die. But some people are different. Like there's some people that spend more than $500 million on a wedding. So everybody's different. Some people like nice cars, big houses. Some people like to travel. It's really subjective. But there's got to be like a minimum threshold for survival. What is that minimum threshold for survival? How much do you need to eat, clothe, and house yourself?
Exactly. So what
There's
is your
always a
survival
minimum
goal?
threshold for
What is your
basic-
survival goal?
For basic, but that's basic human need. There's basic human need, and then there's basic human want.
Okay, so how do you assess that? So my
It's
question:
person to person.
how do you assess that?
I know what mine is. You know what yours is.
Okay, so how much money? Like I would like to go on the board, but how much? I don't want to spend too much time on this, but still, like how much money do you need to be like to assess for the rest of your life? What's your survival goal? How much money do you need to provide and meet those needs for the rest of your life for you? And if you have a wife, for your wife, and if you have kids, for your kids. Like
are we talking cash flow? Okay, you're talking about one fixed amount, or are you talking about? Like,
I'm talking the amount you think,
or you have cash flow
is assessing.
Okay,
for the rest of your life. If it's cash flow, it's cash flow. So if we're talking, it could be like a passive income. How much money do you need to get passive to just live off of it and survive? And people are not calculating that properly. That's the thing I feel.
Most
people are not assessing that.
I feel like most people would say just 10K. I feel like 10K is that number. Yeah,
10K for what? 10K a year? 10K per month? Okay, who makes that amount? 10K per month, friend, is a lot of money, bro. 10K per month.
1.2 million a year. No.
Okay, so right now,
sorry, that's 100.
Let me give you a nice statistics.
My math is horrible.
In Canada, if you make more than $200,000 a year, you're part of the top 1%. So how many people in Canada think that $200,000 is a lot of money? That's my question. Do you really think that $200,000 a year is a lot of money? If you would be making $200,000 a year from now on for the rest of your life, would it provide enough for your needs?
No. It's good for right now, but it won't be good forever. Especially if you're young and inflation's going to eat you alive when you're in your late 30s, 40s. You're going to get eaten alive like a...
So most people make $59,000. That's mid-range in Quebec.
But right now,
$59,000 a year.
People are not happy right now. People are struggling. That's not enough. People can't buy food. They're going to Maxi, le panier le moins cher. Parce que tu peux pas aller au IGA acheter un bon steak. People are buzzing right now, man. The economy is really bad. That you can't live with that amount now. Not when lettuce costs $10 for 3 pieces of lettuce. Andy boy.
We need better goals for our survival if we want better ways of living.
Yeah,
that's
so
my
10x your way through life on literally everything in your life.
You will ask for the thing you deserve if you start thinking that you need to approach any goal with the intent of not just reaching that goal.
Okay, I want to ask you a question. Because since we're on the 10x now, the 10x, so how can applying the 10x mindset transform your business or life? And can we think of areas where maybe you've been thinking too small? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I want to know how you feel about that. I'm going to repeat it.
So, no, bro, I'm chill. So what I think is, well, it's a multi, like, il y a plusieurs trucs à ta question. But what
comment qu'on peut mettre le 10x dans notre vie? Comment est-ce que, comme dans quel département de notre vie, si on veut?
Tu peux mettre le 10x dans chaque département de ta vie. Tu peux faire ça partout.
Puis comment est-ce que ça peut changer notre vie ou notre business? Puis est-ce que tu peux me dire des endroits où est-ce que peut-être des fois que tu penses un peu trop petit puis tu t'attrapes comme, ah ouais, c'est pas un 10x, c'est pas un 10x vibe, ça.
So where it really changes everything, in my opinion, l'endroit où on peut dire que ça va changer quelque chose au niveau de la business, c'est au niveau de la prise d'action versus le thinking de ce qu'on pourrait faire. Fait que moi, où est-ce que je vois le plus de pain points for businesses, small businesses, especially small businesses, where systems are not really being applied. It's a lot of things are still manually done, and people are talking to each other. Hey, Stéphane, t'as-tu parlé à tel client? When this happens still in small businesses, you're going to see a lot of, I was thinking about, we should maybe change this to become this instead. So this is kryptonite because it hampers everything. If you set up massive goals at the beginning of the week, let's say like us, we meet on Fridays. Okay, we meet on Fridays and we talk about the week and we set up goals for next week. Every Friday, we're looking at stats, we're looking at data, and we're making sure that we're on track for next week with the targets that we've set. So if I set such small targets, the 5 days in the week are not going to be filled with actions that we're just going to be thinking about. Let me give you a better example.
You're not going to be hungry enough. I feel like you're not going to be hungry enough with those small goals. You're not going to be motivated at all. Like, it's boring. It's boring, But then there's another issue with setting goals that are too big. People say like, oh, don't set goals that are too big because they're gonna seem unattainable and you're gonna give up. But I don't think that's true. For me personally, it's not true. But I get what you're saying. Like, you have to set big goals because if you put small goals, like, you're never gonna hit your full potential. You can always do one more. You can always do something more.
I feel like it's people. You know what you say about
it's your fucking brain that's limiting. Avoue, it's your brain that's limiting you. Like, think about it. You're in the gym.
It is your brain because
my fucking reps. I can't do one more. You're like, no, fuck it. And sometimes I'm like, fuck it. You override. So you override your brain. It's like, no, I can do one more, 100%. But you fucking do it. And you're like, bro, I said I can't do it. But
let's put it like practically, okay? If I put a goal for next month of $100,000 in sales, okay? We all know that sales are not profit. So sales, I'm saying sales, we sell for 100K, we're happy. I really made like 20K, 22K profit. All right? So what was my real target here? And people forget to ask themselves the real questions. If you have a problem to fix that costs $40,000, your sales goals for next month or for your $40K to be paid needs to be $200,000 sales. If you put this as a goal, you're going to be depressed if you don't reach it, right? T'es d'accord avec moi? Le goal, on devait se mettre 200,000. I need $200,000. I need it. Like, I really need it to pay the 40K for something that happened. We crashed a truck.
Maybe you'll be disappointed I didn't hit it, but...
No, but it's going to be a catastrophe. It's going to be a drama.
But you did more than what you would have done if you put a smaller goal.
No, man, check. Let me finish, because the 200K, you need it. You need the 40K.
Okay.
If you don't reach the 40K, otherwise it's a drama. Otherwise you don't pay it. Otherwise they take away something. So the goal cannot be 200K. The goal has to be $1 million. If you put the goal to $1 million, the amount of actions you will take to reach $1 million will be out of this world. Like, it will catapult you somewhere else. I don't need 200K. I need $1 million. So I need to talk to different people. I need to go around different offices. I need to speak to more people. We have like those little goals that we had last week. They need to change this week because we have $1 million
that's a type of
goal.
situation where you tell your receptionist, yeah, Shirley, cancel the lunch, Thursday 3 p.m. lunch with James. I'm busy.
Oublie ça. On change tout. Parce que c'est plus la même. It's the red telephone. It's like you're gonna be like it's gonna be buzzing all morning. Because if it's $200,000 and you're used to $100,000, you're only gonna double the actions, and that's not enough because there's stuff along the way that's gonna come up and that's gonna bring you down that you don't know about getting to 200K. If you knew about 200K a month, you would be there every month. Now you need it and you're stuck because you don't know how to double.
I have a question.
The thing you need to know how to 10x.
I have a question for you, okay? Because like we were like when it comes to personal development, when it comes to learning stuff, does learning stuff count as an action? Does learning stuff in order to propel you to get stuff done? Does the action of learning
100%.
count as an action?
Watching
count as like
this live stream
10x
right now.
action?
Watching this live stream, I don't know if we have viewers. I don't even check the thing. Watching this live stream right now
is a 10x action.
It's a 10x action because this is against the like proper like brain destroying scrolling. Right now you're doing some hard stuff.
Us being here is a 10x action. You know why? Because
we've been there for like almost 20 days.
Sometimes I'm tired to do this live, but I suck it up and I say, no, let's go, bro. My veins are popping. Let's go. Let's do it live.
And what does it bring you? It brings you like, for me, it's the camera. It's satisfaction because you learn stuff. We learn stuff. We read stuff. And
we did it when we didn't want to do it, and it's like, and after you feel great. It's often the stuff with the non-immediate gratification that gives you benefits. Whatever gives you immediate gratification is not good long term. Whatever gives you like later gratification is not good short term.
It builds you. It builds you. Longer gratification.
It's like compound interest. It's like compound interest. Every little action you do adds up and compounds over time. It's like the snowball. It starts off like a little peanut and it goes
100%.
And then over time it just becomes massive and then all of a sudden it's a fucking big boulder. And then you better get out of the way because it's gonna crush you.
But it's hard. It's hard. Like it has to be hard.
Life.
So
but let's get back. Let's get back to, I don't know if you have any closing thoughts.
But bro, I wanted to like give like a quick, quick not call to action, but some action plan for someone like I did yesterday for some people that are joining late and might like feel like they want something to target on after like listening to us talking about this. But you said a little earlier that our brain is the limiting factor. I just wanted to say that you're 100%. Like I feel like it's the 100% thing. Like your brain is the limiting factor because
your body
it's in your mind. It's in your mind that you are thinking about the potential outcome, and as soon as you feel that c'est comme ça que ça va arriver. Like how you visualize in your brain the potential outcome, how it will. The way you visualize it will conduct how you will actually conduct yourself, discipline yourself, wake up in the morning early. Like if you don't feel the urge, you won't wake up. So I don't need, j'ai pas d'alarm clock. Ça fait des années que j'ai plus d'alarm clock. I don't need an alarm clock. When I know I need to wake up at 5:30, I wake up at 5:15.
It's the urgency. It's the urgency that's the biggest. It's the biggest motivational, the biggest moving factor of all time. That's one thing that'll get your ass up. The urgency factor, and that's why it's used in sales as the number one tactic to close a deal. Urgency. Now we're getting older. Urgency for success. Urgency now.
Exactement.
Up at 4. Let's go.
Up at 4.
There's no more. We're in our 30s now, approaching mid 30s now. It's like no more time to waste.
We're late.
There's no more Call of Duty. Okay, maybe once in a while we can play Call of Duty with boys. Maybe once in a while. But only after we did the 10x. And then when we play our video game, when we play Call of Duty, we do 10x, bro. 10x even
Once in a while. Okay, so let me finish with this. So point number one, I wrote it down, okay, guys? Point number one, mistakes people are making when setting up their goals, okay? Mistargeting. They're going too low. You guys are going too low, man. You need 100,000 sales? No, bro. You need 1 million. You need 1 million in sales because things are gonna come up and you're gonna come up short and you're not gonna get the million. You're gonna get 480. Listen, our first goal for me and Kev when we started the business, Uninet, the first year, I said to Kev $100,000 not to make him like trip too much. But in my head, I was in the million. And we ended up making 250 the first year. Me and Kev alone. No, like, c'est pas vrai. On avait des employés, mais on a fait 250 the first year. Puis on était presque juste moi puis Kev. On avait quelques employés. And the year after, we doubled. And the year after, we did not double. We almost. So we're at that third year, right? We're on almost double encore. Puis le target, c'était ça. C'était toujours plus que qu'est-ce qu'on a. Je peux pas dire que le target, c'était ça. Puis, hey, on l'a atteint.
Non.
Le target, dans ma tête, était beaucoup plus élevé. Puis les actions qu'on a prises étaient massives à chaque semaine. Parce que c'est ça qui a set up le calendrier, finalement. Si tu te fais un setup à 100 000, tu vas avoir du temps pour aller jouer à Call of Duty dans ta semaine. Tu comprends?
Jamais, on va jamais avoir du temps pour jouer au Call of Duty, mais des fois, c'est le fun.
In your head, you will.
C'est bon pour ta tête, des fois.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying it's bad for you. I'm saying you will have much more time for it if your goal is $100K a year for your first year.
100%.
You need to have $1 million a year first year goal if you start. If you're out there starting, guys, I know that for you it seems like a lot of money, but that's we talked about it. That's so subjective. $1 million is not a lot of money if you think about all the expenses, all the people you need to pay, all the stuff you need to pay in terms of marketing. You're gonna make $0 after $1 million a year business. Trust. Who cares? Who cares?
Or at least that's what we try to make it.
Like,
so we don't pay a lot of taxes.
Long term, we spoke about, like, you said that, like, long-term gratification brings you more value.
Short-term pain. Short-term pain.
Exactly. You said that. So for me, this is if my short term is 3 years, what is your short term suffering?
Yeah.
Because I know that, like, have you watched, like, have you people watch Dragon's Den for a minute and how these companies are coming? Like, they're not making that much money. They're going to Dragon's Den, they're starting up, they're looking for investors. They're not making that much money. The people are paying themselves like 40. If they make too much money and they pay themselves $200K a year and they make $1 million, they're not supposed to be there because their financials are not going to fit. Ça va même pas marcher. Why do you need investors if you make $200K a year? Lower your salary, bro, and you're going to be able to get your $150K a year. Say 150. Like,
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Most, I don't know. I like to think that most entrepreneurs, the ones that are really passionate about and they believe in their business, so they'll put it low at the beginning. But at the end of the day, you always have to pay yourself, right?
I pay myself.
Of course, I pay yourself first. Pay yourself first, always.
But do you need to?
We never know what's going to happen.
Like,
tomorrow,
you could
right?
expand. We could expand on pay yourself first. For some people, pay yourself is like getting myself a boat before my company is reaching that level, and then you go back at work on Monday and you're out there setting up targets for other people. But like, what like, there's something wrong with your targets, bro. Like, if your target is 10 million a year, but you've set up your survival rate so high and your target so low in your company, like, it has to fit at some point. Si tu veux avoir une compagnie à 10 millions en 4-5 ans, il va falloir que tu réduises un petit peu ton mode de vie pour être capable de réinvestir cet argent-là massivement dans ta compagnie. some of my money that I value is mine. I should get like 80K a year. I should get like 100K a year, 120K a year. I should get that. I think my salary in Uninet it should be valued at like 100K a year. I should get that.
More, I would say more. The amount you put into the CRMs, managing and going on the field and waking up at 4. No, Beno, you can't really. It's hard to quantify. You're right now. You're in the short-term phase.
I honestly suck at quantifying that.
You're in the short-term pain phase.
So I don't care. My wife takes care of my salary. My wife, she's in a business. God bless her. She's pregnant. She's taking care of so many things right now. We're gonna have a little kid.
Shout out.
We're gonna have a little son, Raphael, in October. We're having a baby. So my wife is taking care of my salary. She's taking care of how much I'm making. I honestly cannot tell how much money I make. Jordan. She takes care of it. She makes the paychecks and she makes the transfers. The money goes in, goes out, and I have my expenses are inside a calendar, and I'm very okay with that. I don't spend money. When I spend money, I buy these things cheapest, like the cheapest.
I'm with you. I'm
$2 pens.
Right now. I don't even have a nice like. I was thinking the other day, I was like, man, I want to get my first nice car, but I'm like, nah, we're gonna wait. We wait for the nice car. It's gonna come. You know what I mean?
It's gonna come, bro. I love my RAV4.
It's not what's important right now.
I love my RAV4.
Right now is building.
I love my RAV4.
The Toyota
2017.
It's the only car you need, bro.
2017.
You don't need more than that.
RAV4 limited.
All these things equipped. Right now, we're living this. Me and you and I, we're living this short-term thing that we're having an eye. We're like, man, I want to get a nice car now. But it's like, nope, not yet, because the long-term strategy is way too important to like sacrifice it for short-term. I want a nice car. Screw that. I'll drive a 2000 Kia Rio if I have to for the next couple of years until I can actually buy it and
ball in your business. Don't get me wrong. Sorry, I cut you off. But because I feel like it's important and we're running out of time and we're like really overextending ourselves.
Let's wrap it up. Man. It's already 37 minutes.
But I just want to like say something about you. Ball in your business and keep it low key in your personal life as much as you can, especially in these hard as F times, people. Ball in your business. Buy the best steam cleaner you could find on the market. Industrial steam cleaner. Maintain it, take care of it, and sell the service. Buy the best tenant and use your good credit. If you have good credit, F your Mercedes-Benz. Like, I could get a G63, blah, blah, blah. F, bro.
It's sad when I see
good for you. Walk out, go get a tenant.
Look, no offense to whoever does this. No offense, but it's stupid. It's stupid. I know people that like, man, no offense. Again, I feel bad because I know people that do this. They still living at home, don't even have their own first property yet, but they're leasing like a Mercedes. Bro, it hurts me. It hurts me to see that.
Boys, if you have the chance to pass for Mercedes and you have goals in life, if you have the chance to make a choice before you're going for credit.
But if that's your goal,
write something down in the comments. We're gonna find you something. We're gonna help you finance something way bigger, because I'm not gonna tell you like everything I could do with less than 700 credit. Like most people who are thinking about having goals and starting business have more than 700 credit. I could do with less than that a bunch of stuff. We could finance a bunch of stuff, guys, and people c'est ça que les gens réalisent pas. They're not showing that to anyone. They're not letting you know that banks will finance business ideas and business, like if you have contracts going on and you know where you're going, they're financing that 100 times more easily than your Mercedes-Benz, and even your même les prêts personnels, les prêts bancaires pour les hypothèques, tout ça. Guys, there's easier ways to reach your goals than you could think of.
So I gotta wrap this
We
up.
gotta wrap this up, bro.
Yeah,
On a overextend tellement, bro, mais c'était intéressant, c'est pour ça. Je
Yeah,
vais pas
no, for
arrêter
sure.
ça.
It's always nice
trop.
conversations with you, Phil. We
On
always
va,
have nice,
on va continuer ça demain, man.
interesting, and productive conversations. But yeah, tomorrow
Thursday
same
talk.
time, brother.
Same
Yes,
time.
sir.
Yes. Ciao, man. On se
Ciao,
reparle.
my friend. Take care, man. Have
All
a
right.
good one.
Take it easy.
Ciao, ciao.